I remember when I was in 8th grade going over to my buddy's house every day before school and playing Pokemon Red and Pokemon Blue. We both would play it together. We had a link cable so that we could trade Pokemon, and it was just an awesome experience. We would also sit there and watch the Pokemon cartoon, Pokemon, gotta catch 'em all! Like, it was a lifestyle for us. But obviously the Pokemon franchise has been around for quite a while, and honestly, I kind of stopped playing the games. Once the DS version started hitting, I don't know, I just sort of started moving my interest into other games. But Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu sort of re-sparked my interest in the Pokemon franchise. It was a fun game, it was a bit simplistic, but I had a fun time being reintroduced to the Pokemon franchise, and I was very curious to see what would happen with Gen 8 on the Nintendo Switch. Obviously, this would be a mainline Pokemon experience built for the ground up for the Nintendo Switch, so I was definitely curious to see how this game would evolve. Obviously, games like Yokai Watch 4 are really taking a huge graphical leap, and it was time for Pokemon to take a leap similar to that. Well, today we were introduced to Pokemon Sword and Pokemon Shield via a 7-minute presentation from Nintendo and Game Freak. And honestly, there's a lot of stuff to talk about. So I want to go over what I thought of this presentation, what I thought of the evolution of Pokemon, and what I think about Pokemon Sword and Pokemon Shield. So sit back, relax, make sure you subscribe to the channel. I promise I won't sing any more Pokemon songs. Well, maybe at the end of the video. And let's talk about Pokemon Sword and Pokemon Shield.
Hey, RGT 85. Hey, Sean.
Oh my God, it's Stevie Richards! So before we get into the meat and the potatoes of this video, I do want to say the presentation was said to be 7 minutes long, but it clearly was 6 minutes long. I woke up early for this. It started at 9 o'clock in my time, and it ended at 9:06. That is 6 minutes, not 7 minutes, Nintendo and Game Freak. Please learn better time management, because, yeah, it was not 7 minutes, it was 6 minutes. But anyways, what they showed in this presentation was definitely very, very promising in my opinion. There was only a few things I did not like, but for the most part, Pokemon Sword and Pokemon Shield looks like a day one purchase for me, because the main thing here we have to talk about is the graphics of the game. Obviously, it was time for Pokemon to take a leap into a more realistic graphical style, into something a bit bigger in scope. You started to see these things with the 3DS versions of the game. They started to get a little bit bigger in scope, but let's be honest, it was time for it to become and look like a console version of the game. And definitely what I saw from the graphics and Pokemon Sword and Pokemon Shield were very, very impressive. We saw a lot of high done graphical effects in this game. The water looked absolutely amazing. They showed a bunch of different settings that you will be looking for Pokemon in. Settings like a city, settings like a countryside, settings like a mountainous region, a snowy region, underground regions. Everything we saw graphically from this game was very, very impressive, I felt. It seems like Pokemon has finally made that jump into the next generation of graphics. Now, this is happening in a new region. It's called the Galar region, and they showed basically sort of an overview map of this region and just sort of emphasized once again all of the different graphical things that will be happening in this landscape. And I think that's definitely a huge selling point for this Pokemon game, because it just looks so damn good. All of the characters that they showed and all of the Pokemon that they showed looked really good, but I was definitely more impressed with the surroundings. It's definitely time for some variety in these Pokemon games when it comes down to the graphical settings of this, and, you know, really sort of making that jump into the HD generation, because you got to remember, this is really the first mainline Pokemon game, Let's Go aside, that has been on a home console. And a lot of people were anticipating a more rich graphical style, you know, maybe something a bit more open world, and I definitely got sort of a very open feeling from this trailer. They showed a lot of, you know, cinematic shots as well of the region that you're going to be in, the Galar region, and I felt like I was in this world. I felt like I was in this huge world with a lot of different things to explore. Now, the one thing that I really wasn't completely sold on was the 3 starter Pokemon. We were introduced to the 3 starter Pokemon that will be in Pokemon Sword and Pokemon Shield. They are Grookey, Scorbunny, and Sobble will be the starter Pokemon in this game. Now, Grookey is a monkey, so more than likely I will be picking him, because you guys know I really like monkeys. Scorbunny looked okay-ish, and Sobble looked kind of weird. I don't know, I was kind of hoping that they would do some more traditional Pokemon. None of these Pokemon really looked all that cool, you know. Maybe I'm just sort of being nostalgic with this because obviously the first three Pokemon in Pokemon Red and Blue were, you know, very iconic and very just sort of, they stuck into your head, you know. Charmander, like that's a character that sticks in your head. Whereas these three characters, I don't know, I did not get the same vibe from them. Obviously these characters will more than likely evolve, so there will probably be some cooler versions of them, but I don't know, I just wasn't too thrilled with the three starter Pokemon. Now, of course, using them is a whole different story, but I would have liked something a bit more cool in my opinion. One big thing that this game does offer, of course, is the ability to enter gyms again. So it looks like this is going to be a more traditional Pokemon game. Obviously, Pokemon Let's Go was a bit of a deviation in terms of gameplay and all of that. I think it was much more simplified because they were trying to bring in the mobile audience into this game, but it looks like that has been sort of fixed. This is definitely going to be the more hardcore RPG experience of this Pokemon universe. And of course, there are many new Pokemon that were teased in this game as well. So that's a good thing. You know, I think people always like new Pokemon. I definitely hope that there's some fan favorites involved as well because, you know, I like those. The nostalgia for Pokemon for me is kind of at a high right now. So I would like to see more of the traditional Pokemon that we've seen, especially in Red and Blue, that would possibly be introduced into this version of the game because those are the ones I'm familiar with. I'm not expecting the full 151 to be in there, but it would be cool to see some fan favorites. But honestly, you know, they really didn't show much beyond that. You're just aiming for the title of being champion once again, a traditional Pokemon storyline. But I really felt from the graphics and I really felt from this presentation that it's going to be a more advanced Pokemon experience. I feel like they're finally making that jump into the next universe with the Pokemon franchise, and it's very promising in my opinion. It's definitely a game that I'll be watching. And what's very interesting is the Pokemon company Game Freak actually teased that there will be more Pokemon projects in development in 2019. So I'm not sure if that's going to be some offshoot games, maybe some digital games, eShop only games that will be available on the Nintendo Switch. Maybe they're still going to do something on the 3DS. Obviously, Pokemon Sword and Pokemon Shield will not be available on the 3DS. This is only for the Nintendo Switch, but I will be curious to see if they do some offshoot games with it. You know, it's definitely time for a new Pokemon Snap. Like, let's be honest, Pokemon Snap was one of the coolest games on the N64. It's a game that people still talk about today, and it's a game that I think would be very, you know, well received on an eShop-like platform. And if you have this new region, the Galar region, that looks so cool and has all these different things, why not sort of introduce maybe a side game that's Pokemon Snap based in this new region, or maybe even include it in the mainline game? Obviously, this is a bigger experience than we've had on handheld systems for the Pokemon franchise. I think things like that, mini games, and little interesting deviations from the main story of Pokemon Sword and Pokemon Shield should definitely be introduced into this game. There's no reason for them to sort of skimp on the features of this. It needs to be a full-on robust RPG experience. But I think Game Freak knows that. I think Game Freak is definitely gearing up for something very special with Pokemon Sword and Pokemon Shield, because just looking at the graphical style of the game, you could tell that they realize that this is a whole new ball game. This is a whole new thing for the Pokemon franchise. It's the proper evolution that we've all wanted. Now, how the gameplay will be, how the battle system will be, that still remains to be seen. They did not show anything from the battle system. I'm going to assume that it's a more traditional battle system, you know, not something skimped down like Pokemon Let's Go, but in the same breath, you have to imagine they're going to try to incorporate that Pokeball that was released alongside of Pokemon Go, because that was sort of a big thing. You know, a lot of people bought into that, so there really needs to be some sort of integration with that, because if not, it's just going to be stuck with Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Pokemon Let's Go Eevee, and that wouldn't seem really cool. But definitely what I saw today was impressive. It was definitely enough to make me very interested in this upcoming game, not only as a slight Pokemon fan, but as an RPG fan in general. I love the settings that they showed. I love the different regions that they showed in this game. All the little things like the snowfall and the weather effects in this big bustling city. I'm really getting excited about this game. This video definitely whetted my appetite for it, but I definitely want to see the battle system. I want to see more from this game, but we're going to see more from this game. Obviously, this is probably going to be a cornerstone of Nintendo's E3 lineup because it's a big deal. It's a big thing. Pokemon is back. Gen 8 is coming, and it looks absolutely fantastic. It's scheduled for a late 2019 release, more than likely in the November time frame, and then it's just going to sell a bunch of Nintendo Switches. There's probably going to be bundles and all sorts of stuff, but I'm definitely very, very excited for this game, and I want to see more, and I want to learn more, because I think this is definitely going to be a solid entry in the Nintendo Switch library, and really the evolution of Pokemon that we have all been waiting for quite a while. Some of us 20 plus years. God, I'm getting old. But let me know in the comments section down below what you thought of today's Pokemon Directs for Pokemon Sword and Pokemon Shield. What did you think of the starter Pokemon? Were you a bit disappointed with those? Do you think they could have done something a little bit cooler? And of course, what do you think of the graphical evolution of this game? What do you want to see in the battle system? And what sort of things do you want to see incorporated into this game? And as always, thank you guys for checking out this video. I told you I wouldn't sing anymore, but Pokemon, gotta catch them all! Like, my voice is shot. Like, I don't usually wake up this early and stuff like that. I haven't even showered or brushed my teeth or had anything to eat. It's supposed to snow tonight. I gotta go buy some supplies, but I just wanted to make this video because, you know, it's a cool looking game. So like I said, let me know in the comment section down below what you thought of this direct presentation, and as always, I will catch you guys on the next video. Later.